Marina, if you are ready, we can start maybe.
Oh, okay. So,
Okay, so I would like to welcome everybody to this webinar. Today we will have Marina Koreshkova, who is Associate Professor at the St. Petersburg University in Russia. Her talk going to be about ultramafic minettes rich in apatite. I will discuss about a bit of apatite composition and the lack of diamond in these rocks. But before I start the presentation, I have a few things to cover. As last time, webinar will be available on the YouTube channel, so I will send you a link in the next emails once the video is online. And also, if you have a question for the speaker, so you can type them in the chat room on the left, and we will answer to this question at the end of the presentation. So I have no more additional information to give you, so we can start the presentation. Marina, it's your turn if you want.
okay. Hello. I present the data we obtained with my colleagues on low profile dikes in the northwestern White Sea region. The dikes were situated between the city of Kandalaksha and the Turi Peninsula. Oh, sorry. It's here. And this is the area of Devonian alkaline magmatism. There are some massives, and there are great number of dikes and explosion pipes of ultramafic lump profiles, nephelinites, millilitites, carbonatites, and kimberlites. These dikes cut early Proterozoic rocks of the Lapland-Kolitsa granulite belt, metamorphosed gabbro anorthosites of the Kolitsa massif, and various granulites of Porya Guba. The dikes form small body. The dikes have thickness of centimeters to meters. Mostly they are concentrated at this cape, but there are some more bodies in this area. First, they were described as kimberlites, lamproids, and lamprophiles. No diamonds had been found in them, but similar rocks can contain diamonds. For example, Gibson Lake Dike in Canada. These dikes were emplaced in early Proterozoic. Larisa Petrovna Nikitina and her colleagues determined the age from rubidium strontium isochron. The age is 1.72 billion years, and these dikes slightly postdate the latest pegmatites in the Lapland belt. These rocks look reddish gray, mica rich, and can be easily distinguished from Devonian ultramafic lump profiles. There is one composite dike, which is carbonacitic with stripes of lamprey fire in it. These rocks have serial porphyric texture, but large phenocrysts are rare in them, and there are rare and metasomatized xenoliths and xenocrysts. Xenocryst mostly of phlogopite and clinopyroxene, and xenoliths are among xenoliths phlogopite clinopyroxenites predominate. Some of these rocks composed of phlogopite, amphibole, orthoclase, and apatite. In other rocks, calcite can be present in the ground mass together with orthoclase, and sometimes albite is present as well. Phenocrysts are not only phlogopite, but diapside can be found in these rocks. And these rocks contain no leucite, no olivine, nepheline, melilite, garnet, and no spinels. So some of these rocks look very ultramorphic with diapside and phlogopite phenocrysts and calcite in the ground mass. Sometimes ground mass is very fine grained and composed of calcite and chloride, and I suggest it was formed after glass. And obviously there is a problem with the rock name. They are clearly not kimberlites, orangites, lampreyites, and they are not damtilnites, ilikites, or inoites. So we have decided to call them minettes. Probably there is nothing against using this name. Apatite is very abundant in the rocks. Its content is about 10%. So we can consider their mineralogy in more detail. Diapside phenocrysts are zoned, and diapside grade into aegirine augite, and sometimes it has aegirine rims. But diapside in the grain cause is high magnesium and has low aluminum content and low sodium, titanium, and chromium contents. Phlogopite has very complex zoning. The zoning is mostly due to various contents of iron and barium, but variations of its composition are all within the field, the common field for kimberlites, lamproids, and lamprophyres. And sometimes the variations go in opposite directions. Typical for these rocks is that the phlogopite has denacristic cores. Some of them are chromium rich and high magnesium, and other are low magnesium and titanium rich and similar to phlogopite from granulites. Amphibole is potassic ricterite, and as well, like in lamproids, but in lamproids the ricterite is titanium rich. It's reddish brown to yellow in its color, but potassic ricterite in the minettes is poor in titanium, and it grades to potassic arfetzenite in grain rings. Autoclays can be anhydral and poikilytic in the ground mass, but in rocks where calcite is present in the ground mass, autoclays form euhydral grains. Actually, the rocks are not very fresh. Autoclays transforms into microcline. And there are secondary chlorides and secondary amphibole in some of the rocks. So probably separate grains of autoclays and albite can be the result of recrystallization, but sometimes albite forms rims on euhydral autoclase grains, so I think it's the primary mineral of these rocks. Autoclase is almost pure. It contains some barium in cores, up to 4%. And apatite is rock forming mineral. It forms prismatic grains. It's rich in strontium, in rare earth elements, yttrium, thorium, and mass balance calculations show that it hosts around 50% of rare earth elements and yttrium. Here you can see its rare earth element composition. It's very rich in light rare earth elements, but it's also rich in heavy rare earths, not so much as in light rare earths. And apatite crystallized later than phenocrysts, but earlier than other ground mass minerals. However, apatite can be found in some pyroxenite xenoliths. Probably it crystallized even earlier. Its inclusion in phenocrysts are very rare. In the ground mass, there are abundant accessory minerals, rutile, monazite, zircon, sulfides of barium and strontium, some titanite, zircon crystallized later than apatite. It's anhydral when it meets apatite, and hydral when it faces the ground mass. It is very rich in thorium and uranium, has a high thorium-uranium ratio, and its trace element composition is slightly unusual. It is enriched in middle rare earths, slightly and sometimes strongly depleted in heavy rare earths. And I suggest this is because it crystallized later than apatite from the melt that was already depleted in heavy rare earths. So the whole rock composition there are some variation of composition between dikes. We can see a decrease in magnesium content, as well as calcium and chromium content, and potassium content with and phosphorus with increasing sodium content. I've taken sodium as a measure of fractionation because phenocrysts do not contain sodium. There is very little, very small concentrations of sodium in phlogopite and in diopside. But we can see as well a decrease in rare earth contents. In lanthanum, for example, but I've forgotten the diagram for niobium or zirconium. Their contents increase with increasing sodium content. So I have just drawn it I suggest that this is because of apatite fractionation, so residual melts are getting depleted in rare earth elements, and we can compare the composition of these rocks with some ultrapotassic rocks on Kola Peninsula and Karelia, the Kostamuksha, lampretes, orangeates, and lamprophires from Ladoga Lake region, and with Gibson Lake dike in Canada. So in major elements, the least evolved rocks as approaches the composition of Kostamuksha lampretes, and well, I think these melt fractionate phlogobyte and diapside, but if we take the composition of phenocrysts, it cannot explain the decrease in chromium, because phenocrysts have very low chromium contents. So probably phlogobyte and diapside that are present in xenoliths fractionated from these melts earlier. I think the initial melt stopped at some depth in upper mantle or the lower crust, and diapside in xenoliths and phlogobyte as well are much richer in chromium. And here you can see compositions of clinopyroxenes in the minettes from Poryoguba in red square. These are phenocryst scores and some xenocrysts, and compositions of clinopyroxenite xenoliths, and they are very similar in I think it's probable. Well, this slide is special for students. Studied petrology this semester, and so this silica undersaturated alkaline melts should have crystallized olivine and leucite, but instead we see phlogopite and diopside in them. But leucite is stable under low pressures. At high pressure, phlogopite stability increases and leucite disappears, and instead potassic feldspar crystallizes from these melts. So the way is first forsterite should crystallizes and then reach this monovariant curve where phlogopite joins it, and at the point B, forsterite reacts with melt, and then phlogopite and diopside crystallize together, and the crystallization ends at the point C, where potassic feldspar joins them. So initial melts approach the major element composition of Kastamuksa lamprites, but you can see that there are some significant differences in trace element compositions, and it's better finish at this stage and not discuss the sources of these rocks. In conclusion, these minettes are certainly of kimberlite and lamproite affinity. These rocks are always interesting from different points of view, but in this particular dikes, the story was that the magmas did not ascend rapidly to the surface, but stopped somewhere in the mantle or lower crust and produced phlogopite clinopyroxenite, and then residual melts reached the surface, and probably this is the reason why they do not contain diamonds. And it's possible that apatite did not accumulate in these rocks because of its early crystallization. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. Thank you, Marina.
It's much easier to answer questions.
Yeah, thank you, Marina, for this nice talk. So if you have any question, please type them in the chat room. So Marina, it was really nice talk. I learned a lot about alkaline magmatism and minette. So it's really nice to have this kind of talk. I'm more confident with mafic and ultramafic magmatism, but yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
So anyone has any question? Maybe not. So in summary, it's you have no appetite because it's like residual met who is reaching the surface, not surface, but and you think that appetite is more like with the initial melt and stuck more or less in the lower upper mantle, lower crust.
No, I think its initial high content of phosphorus. But these rocks initially have high phosphorus contents, but apatite this sorry. Appetite was not concentrated because at several stages it crystallized and the phosphorus contents slowly decreases towards more evolved melts. So it's more or less equal apatite content in all dikes, dike rocks.
Thank you for your answer. So it's look nobody else have any question. So maybe we can end the session. Nadia, she has some question. Do you have any information about alkali dikes from the area which are younger?
Oh, there is a huge amount of information about Devonian dikes. Nadia knows very well Valery Ivanikov at our Department of Petrology, who studied these Devonian dikes. So I can provide Nadia with any information.
Okay, she will be really pleased to do if you do that. So I think if there are no more questions, I will end for today's session. I will send an email with the link for the YouTube channel video that you can see once it's online. So next webinar will be next month on the 2nd of March, and that will be given by Ivan Alexeyev from St. Petersburg University also on mafic and ultramafic intrusion of the Baltic Shield in the Kola Peninsula. I would like also to remind you the workshop that I am organizing in Tromsø between 11 and 13 of June. The deadline for abstract submission has been extended until 18 of February, especially because I hear that some of you need a bit more extra time to write the abstract. And thank you to all of you who joined and gave Thank you again, Marina. It was really nice talk about ultrapotassic rock, and I learned a lot. Have a nice day, everybody. See you next month.
See you. Thank you very much.